Today, Samsung unveiled the new Galaxy S21 lineup. Now, if you haven't heard all of the details, I recommend you check out my first looks video for a breakdown of all of the new hardware and the different features that the three phones have to offer. But if you are all caught up, you should be pretty familiar with most of the basics. And I personally have to say that I'm pretty impressed with what the Galaxy S21 and the S21 Plus have to offer this year. I think Samsung's done an incredible job, especially with the design of the phone, with the updated camera module on the side that's pushed up all the way so that melds into the metal frame of the body. Now, this isn't a huge change or anything dramatic, but it's enough to make the phones stand out when compared to the competition, and the look is pretty unique. But I think the main thing that most people are going to be talking about today is the price. I don't think any of us were expecting Samsung to come out with a new flagship device, and the whole lineup is $200 cheaper across the board when compared to last year's model. Now, Samsung definitely deserves a lot of credit for this, and I think it's going to have a massive impact on the smartphone pricing that we see from the competition this year as well. That being said though, the Galaxy S21 and the S21 Plus are far from perfect. So I thought in this video I'd highlight 5 reasons as to why you may not want to buy either of these two phones this year. So without any further delay, let's get to it. The first item on the list is a big one, and that's the displays that Samsung chose to use on both of these smartphones. To cut down on material costs, these are the first flagship devices within the Galaxy S series to feature a full HD+ resolution AMOLED panel since the Galaxy S5 was introduced way back in 2014. Over the past years, Samsung has also been steadily reducing the curved edges on the displays, and this year they've moved all the way back to a full flat display, noticeably increasing the bezels all the way around the edges. Now, personally, I don't have any issues with either of these changes since I set the resolution of my Galaxy S20 last year to full HD+ so that I could take full advantage of the 120 Hz dynamic refresh rate. And I definitely do prefer flat displays as well. But there are quite a few Samsung fans who simply can't get enough of Samsung's Quad HD+ displays, which are honestly really good. And there are also quite a few who still love the curved edges due to the increased screen-to-body ratio that it offers. Both the Galaxy S21 and the Plus come with 8 GB of RAM this year. To some, this may sound perfectly reasonable, but if you did purchase one of last year's Galaxy S20 devices, you currently own a phone that has 12 GB of RAM inside of it. And honestly, I don't know who would want to downgrade from 12 to 8 GB. Like the reduction in the display quality though, this change was needed in order to achieve that $200 discount on the purchase price. While 12 GB of RAM was really what set the Galaxy S20 series apart from the competition last year, 8 GB of RAM is still more than reasonable for a great user experience on Android. You just won't be able to keep a dozen apps in memory at once. We all knew this day would be coming eventually, but I was hoping that we would actually get a couple more generations of flagship Galaxy S smartphones ahead of us before it did. That's right, the Galaxy S21 devices have finally said goodbye to expandable storage. All you get is 128 GB on the base model, and if you want to upgrade that, you're going to have to pay for it when you buy the phone, to 256 GB, and in some cases all the way to 512. Now, if you use Google Photos or another cloud service to back up your photos and videos, you should be just fine with the base model. But if you do turn on 4K video capture, your internal storage is going to run out pretty quickly. Having expandable storage was one of those last remaining features that allowed Samsung's devices, specifically their flagship devices, to stand out from the competition. If this change is a deal breaker for you, you may have to downgrade to a mid-range device in 2021 or simply pick up one of Samsung's flagship devices from last year. The fourth item on my list is a little bit funny if you think about it, and Samsung should definitely get some flack for mocking Apple for not including a charging brick with its 2020 iPhone lineup, and then following suit in its footsteps just a few months later, doing the exact same thing. That's right, just like the iPhone, the new Galaxy S21 lineup doesn't come with a charging brick inside of the box. Now, Samsung didn't make as big of a deal out of it as Apple did, but you will need to use an old charger or purchase a new one, especially if you want to take advantage of the phone's fast charging capabilities. At least Samsung did the right thing by offering the phones at a cheaper price this year, so you technically should have some cash left over to spend on that new charger. Also, if you pre-order the phone from Samsung, they'll be throwing in an extra $100 or $150 for the Galaxy S21 or the S21 Plus, depending on which one you buy, so that you can buy additional accessories, a wireless charger or a case for the device as well. Personally, I think the choice to remove the charging brick from the phone is a good one, since the majority of smartphone users already have a box in the corner just packed full of smartphone chargers. Not only does this allow the retail packaging for the box for the phone to be smaller, but it also leads to less materials being used and a reduction in emissions, transportation costs for the phone, especially since that's being shipped from all the way across the planet. But it also reduces the number of chargers that will eventually make their way into landfills. The fifth and final item on my list is the camera experience. For years, when buying a Samsung Galaxy S smartphone, you were always treated to the best camera experience that Samsung had to offer. But that all changed last year with the introduction of the Galaxy S20 Ultra. Now, even if you pay $1,000 for the S21 Plus, you still get the same camera experience as the entry-level S21, with both of them featuring 12 megapixel sensors for their standard and ultra-wide cameras, and then a 64 megapixel sensor on the back with a 3x zoom lens. And then for the front-facing camera, a 10 megapixel sensor there. If you want the best camera experience that Samsung offers, you're gonna have to shell out $1,200 for the Galaxy S21 Ultra, which swaps in Samsung's 108 megapixel sensor for the main camera that features 9:1 pixel binning that should allow for some incredible low light conditions. And then it has two 10 megapixel sensors for 3x and 10x zoom, and up front, a 40 megapixel sensor for the selfie camera. And on top of all that, Samsung's added 4K video capture at 60 FPS across all 5 of the cameras on the smartphone, allowing you to record video and switch between them on the fly. Now, that's not to say that the regular Galaxy S21 devices will have a subpar camera experience. I honestly think that the cameras on these phones are going to be quite good, and I'm planning quite a few camera comparisons to see how they stack up against the competition. But you're definitely getting one step below what the best of what Samsung has to offer, even within its own lineup. And there you have it, 5 reasons as to why you may not want to buy the new Galaxy S21 or the S21 Plus. Keep in mind that despite these reasons though, I do consider the Galaxy S21 series to be a nice improvement over the previous models, especially when you consider the price point. Having them $200 cheaper makes a world of difference. But of course, everyone's got their own personal opinion and features that they simply must have when purchasing a new device. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon if you want to see my upcoming review of the Galaxy S21 and my camera comparisons as well. You won't want to miss them. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.